Season 3 of Overwatch 2 is here, but this time there is no new hero, but instead a new map. It's called Antarctic Peninsula, which is a control map with 3 control point maps built into it. Some Overwatch 2 maps finally make their debut in competitive, along with significant balance changes, streamer mode, UI updates, quality of life changes, and the return of Overwatch credits. So, buckle up because this channel is your one-stop shop for all Overwatch 2 news, tips, guides, after a word from our sponsor, GamerLink. Are you lonely and have no friends and no one to queue up with for Season 3? Well, fear not, because GamerLink is the #1 LFG app available for free on iOS and Android for both casual and competitive gamers. Queue up for arcade or 5-stack and ranked. Filter by game, skill, communication preference, playstyle, and region for not only Overwatch 2, but over 350 games across all major gaming platforms. Download the app with the link in the description below. Let's begin with the global changes. The maximum ult charge you retain when you swap heroes now has been reduced from 30% to 25%. The tank passive is also getting changed, where the health totals for all tanks will now be lower for any game mode that does not have a role queue. Health totals will remain the same for tanks when playing any role queue enabled game, so that's competitive and quick play. I believe this change was targeted for arcade and open queue since they were disproportionately strong, because the tanks were balanced for a single tank 5v5 game mode, so you almost had to run 3 tanks and 2 supports in CTF and open queue, or else you were kind of throwing, right? Alright, on to specific heroes. D.Va, no change in role queue, but for arcade and open queue, her HP is 200 white health, 300 armor. For Doomfist, no changes for Season 3, but his base health has been reduced from 450 to 300 in open queue and arcade. Junkrat is receiving an extra 25 HP as she's increased from 425 to 450, because apparently the end of Season 2 changes to her weren't enough. More spicy buffs. In arcade and open queue, her base health has been reduced to 300. For Orisa, her augmented fusion driver, her primary fire weapon, damage fall off range is reduced from 25 meters to 15 meters. This means that you will be weaker at mid-range because your damage will start decreasing at that 15-meter distance mark from your target. I mean, look how much less I'm doing on the right side. In arcade and open queue, her base health is reduced by 150, so she's now a 125 base white health, 275 armor split for 400 HP total. For Ramattra, his Annihilation ultimate is getting a nerf where damaging enemies with the ultimate now slows the duration timer instead of pausing it entirely, which now lasts up to 20 seconds at maximum. So now you'll no longer stand there and just block while the other Ramattra blocks and have it last forever. There's actually a cap now. The ultimate cost is also increased by 12%, so it's a little bit more expensive. In arcade and open queue, his base health has been reduced to 300. Alright, Ryan mains, rejoice because he's receiving spicy buffs. First, his charge cooldown has been reduced from 8 seconds to 7 seconds, a little minor buff. And his fire strike damage has been increased from 90 to 100, which is fantastic because you store 2 charges of fire strike, right? So you can 2-tap someone with the back-to-back. The Earth Shatter direct hit damage has been reduced from 250 to 170, so this nerf means you can't one-shot squishies up close. However, the CC knockdown is longer because its duration is increased from 2.5 seconds to 2.75 seconds. This of course comes at the cost of the ultimate being 7% more expensive though. His Rocket Hammer has an interesting change where the knockback impulse has been reduced from 10 to 6. I'm gonna be honest, this is a little weird description, but it basically means your knockback push is 40% less than previous, which I want to say is a buff because generally you don't want to knock people away to keep up with them and you want to keep them close as you swing, but then sometimes that little bit of a bump and knockback can be a little disruptive on the enemy side, so I'm curious what you guys think in the comments. Maybe the Ryan mains can chime in. This is just based on reading the description, so let me know. Ryan's HP is also down to 475 in open queue. Alright, for Roadhog, his whole hog is actually getting a small buff where its maximum duration is increasing from 6 to 8 seconds. However, its cost is going to be increased by 8%. And in open queue and arcade, 550 health now instead of 700. For Sigma, his Gravitic Flux just costs 7% more. That's it. And for arcade and open queue, his HP is now at a 200 white health, 200 blue shield split. Winston is getting a teeny tiny nerf to his barrier projector, his bubble, where its health is reduced from 700 to 650, and in open queue and arcade, he has a 200 HP, 200 armor split. Okay, Wrecking Ball suffered since the beginning of Overwatch 2, and he's getting some massive buffs. First, his HP is changing from 600 white health, 100 armor to 450 white health, 100 armor, and 150 blue shield, which is huge because shields are a much better form of HP since they regenerate at 30 shield HP per second after not taking damage for 2 seconds. That means you can roll away from a fight after losing a big portion of your HP, grab a mega health pack, and still be back at full HP due to that shield health making up the difference. The pile drive cooldown is also being reduced from 10 seconds to 8 seconds, so its uptime is 20% more, and the minefield arming time is reduced from 1.5 seconds to 1 second. It's quick now. The ultimate cost is going up by 9%, however. In open queue, Ball now has 300 HP, 150 armor, and 150 shield. And for Zarya, the final tank, her Graviton Surge ult cost is going up by 8%. For open queue and arcade, her base health is being reduced from 250 to 100, so she's at 100 HP, 225 shield health. Okay, Cassidy's receiving a few buffs. First, his weapon, the Peacekeeper, that's what his pistol is called. Its primary fire fall-off range is increased from 20 meters to 25 meters. That means your damage will not start reducing until you're further away, making him stronger at the mid-range. His combat roll is also no longer going to be blocked by enemy player collision, so you can roll through people now. Junkrat's Concussion Mine's maximum damage is being reduced from 120 to 100. So Junkrat can still one-shot because his primary fire still does 120 plus 100 damage on the Concussion Mine at close range. However, it is a nerf to the consistency of the one-shot because the mine has to be much closer to the enemy to ensure there's enough damage from it to confirm the kill. For example, this would have killed the Ana in Season 2, but in Season 3, this same mine detonation is technically too far from the target now, and that damage fall off is making the mine do less, and the Ana lives. Okay, Mei's Blizzard ult cost is being reduced by 5%, a tiny buff. Pharah, same thing, Rocket Barrage ult cost being reduced by 5%. Reaper's Death Blossom ult cost being reduced by 8%. And Soldier is receiving some spicy buffs where his primary fire, the heavy pulse rifle, the number of shots to reach maximum recoil is being increased from 4 to 6, and its overall recoil is being reduced by 12%. Now, at close range, you really shouldn't feel too much of a difference, and good soldier players had great recoil control anyways, because you can just pull down the recoil and aim pretty much at the same spot. However, at long ranges, it actually feels really good because you generally don't spray enemies from that far away. You usually tap in small bursts, and having a larger threshold before the recoil really kicks in at 6 bullets makes it incredibly easy to do so now. These are some great soldier changes. Sombra's getting some love again, where her machine pistol, her primary fire weapon, the damage per bullet is increased from 7 to 7.5. Her hacked health pack duration is also increasing from 30 seconds to 45 seconds, which is quite nice for the team. Symmetra's Photon Barrier ult cost is being increased by 10%, a small nerf here. Torbjorn's turret is also receiving a small nerf where its base health is being reduced from 250 to 225, nothing too significant. Widowmaker's base health is being reduced from 200 to 175. Woo! I hate Widowmaker, thank you. Ana's Biotic Grenade effect duration is being reduced from 4 to 3.5 seconds, a minor nerf. Brig is receiving a pretty big buff, where first, the repair pack healing is being reduced from 110 HP over 2 seconds to 100 HP over 2 seconds. That is a nerf. However, when you apply the repair pack, it now instantly heals for 25 health on impact. That's actually a net buff overall to this ability. The rally ultimate cost is also going down by 10% as well. Just a reminder that this is just an appetizer for Brig changes, because lead hero designer Alec Dawson already mentioned that they're going to be reworking Brig's ultimate in the future. Don't know when that means, but they are working on new visual effects, sound effects, and all that fun stuff. Lucio's receiving a tiny buff where the sound barrier ultimate cost is being reduced by 7%. Okay. And Mercy. You never want to piss off the Mercy community, just saying. But Guardian Angel's cooldown is now being increased from 1.5 to 2.5 seconds. And the backwards Guardian Angel slingshot is now 20% slower. You can still retain full speed if you do a 180-degree turn and face forward in that direction though. And now this change is a little interesting. Mercy's healing per second with her staff is actually being reduced from 55 HP to 45 HP per second. However, the healing is going to be increased by 50% for allies under half health. So that means you heal 67.5 HP per second for low HP allies. And for Valkyrie, it's actually at 90 HP per second on multiple teammates, since Valkyrie's healing is still actually at 60 HP per second, right? So if they're low health, 90 HP per second is kind of insane. It gets better though. Her passive regeneration is actually going to be removed and replaced with a new passive called Sympathetic Recovery, where Mercy now heals herself for 25% of the healing done with her staff. So this basically encourages Mercies to do a bit more tanking and body blocking, and since you self-heal 25% of the damage done, watch this clip. So fellow creator Neandra is demonstrating the power of Valkyrie's multi-healing under half HP teammates and tanking Bob. Remember that Valkyrie healing under half is 90 HP per second, and then Mercy will self-heal 25% of that, so that's 22.5 HP self-healing per teammate. So you can tank Bob's 100 plus DPS. Crazy. For Moira, her Coalescence alt cost is being reduced by 5%, another small buff, and Zen's ammo is being increased from 20 to 25. In other news, this is the last season they're doing map pools because starting in Season 4, they're getting rid of it, but for now, here's what we have in Season 3. For Control, they're removing Busan and adding the brand new map Antarctic Peninsula. For Escort, they're removing Route 66 and adding back Havana, an old Overwatch 1 map which makes its first appearance in Overwatch 2, except it's now nighttime. Other lighting changes are Circuit Royale, which is now in the morning. I don't hate it, but I think I prefer the cool nighttime tones. Watchpoint Gibraltar still remains out of the pool for a second season in a row. For Hybrid, they're removing Eichenwald and adding back Numbani, another old Overwatch 1 map which makes its first appearance. Unfortunately, Hollywood still remains out for another season in a row as well. For Push, no maps added or removed except Colosseo now has morning lighting, so it isn't that orange evening color tone. I like it. Now there's a few new settings added in Season 3. First, the streamer mode. You can find it in Options and then the Social tab. These are client-side features, meaning your actual enemies and teammates in-game can still see your name. This is not a true anonymous mode, and it's mostly for when you broadcast to an audience on Twitch, for example, like at twitch.tv/KarQ Monday to Friday. These changes give you the option to hide your name. For example, KarQ now becomes K***Q, so if anybody has their name as like Fork, good luck. You can hide other player names. You can hide replay codes when you want to generate them but don't want anyone to see. You can hide your queue times, have a random queue delay so the matchmaker will appear to be in queue but won't actually start searching until sometime between the min and max amount of seconds you choose to delay. You can hide the chat. This key binding always existed but is now part of the streamer settings, so you can find it here. Obviously, not everyone's a streamer, so there's actually other settings that are pretty cool now. Accessibility. You can fatten up your mouse cursor size on PC. I mean, look at this thing. Subtitles have also improved options as well. Text scalability, character portrait icon, speaker name, text color, background color, and a nice little preview. Then under color blindness, you can actually change your UI colors, and it has a nice preview area to see how it would look in game. And that's it for me. Thanks for watching and listening to my coverage video. Come on over to twitch.tv/KarQ during the Season 3 launch for Ash drops all week.